Tory civil war, Boris Johnson told to resign if he fails to secure Brexit trade deal. A Tory MP has demanded Boris Johnson resign as Prime Minister if he fails to reach a Brexit trade deal with the EU before the end of the year. Sir Roger Gale, North Thanet MP, has broken ranks with his party to call on Mr Johnson to stand down if he cannot deliver on a deal. The veteran MP wrote on Twitter, "If Mr Johnson fails to reach an acceptable trade agreement with the EU, the Prime Minister will also have failed the people of the United Kingdom." As a lifelong member of the Conservative Party, I believe that Mr Johnson's position as Prime Minister would be untenable. As an honourable man, he would have to make way for somebody more able to pick up the pieces, to reunite the whole country and to show the leadership that Great Britain and Northern Ireland deserves. Up to now, Conservative MPs have remained a united front, supporting the Prime Minister in his assertion the UK will leave the EU transition period on World Trade Organization terms unless Brussels shifts in its demands. Mr Johnson has said the UK will prosper mightily if no deal is agreed between the two sides and Britain ends up trading with the EU 27 on terms similar to trade between Brussels and Australia. Talks have been deadlocked for months over the issues of fishing, governance and state aid. Mr Johnson and European Commission President set a firm deadline of yesterday to decide on the future negotiations. However, the two sides agreed to continue trade talks after the pair held a useful phone call on Sunday. Express.co.uk understands the decision was made after progress in some areas since Mr Johnson and Ms von der Leyen's last conversation over dinner in Brussels last Wednesday evening. However, Mr Johnson urged caution over the weekend, saying the two sides remained very far apart and a no-deal exit was still the most likely outcome. Sir Robert's warning to the Prime Minister to avoid such a scenario comes in contrast to many of his colleagues. Bracknell MP James Sunderland has suggested the best outcome for the UK would be to leave the transition period under WTO terms before returning to the negotiating table in January. He told Express.co.uk, "Everything at the moment is in the gift of the European Union. What we are doing is seeking a free trade agreement with the EU, our closest neighbour, in exactly the same way as Canada and other countries have done. At the moment there's part of EU that thinks we're still part of the EU.